The other day, I got a comment on one of my videos asking me to explain how to find your maintenance calories, right? And I gave a little response in the comment section, but I felt like that wasn't enough. So I kind of wanted to put together like a proper video explaining how to find your maintenance calories so that way you can cut or bulk or whatever it is you want to do. I know it's a pretty simple thing, but a lot of people don't actually know this, and I know it took me like at least 15 TikTok videos to figure it out. So I thought I'd explain to you guys like two pretty simple methods that I use all the time to find my maintenance calories. It only takes like 5 minutes. They're pretty simple to do, so we'll get right into it. But first, I'll explain what your maintenance calories actually are. So your maintenance calories are essentially the exact amount of calories that your body burns on a daily basis. So every single day, your body uses energy and it uses a certain amount. It's kind of based off your height, your weight, these sort of things. So you would need to eat this exact amount of calories every single day to remain the same weight that you are now. That's why they call it maintenance calories. And the main reason you want to know your maintenance calories, especially if you're into bodybuilding, for instance, is so you can either cut or bulk, or maybe you actually just want to maintain all the time. If you have like a good amount of mass and you want to just stay that same weight, stay that same level of leanness, you'd need to know this number so you can try and eat around it every single day. So if you are cutting, you would find your maintenance calories and then you'd subtract, say, 500 off of that number, and you should be able to lose weight on that amount of calories if you were to eat it every day. Same with bulking. You're just going to add, say, 200-300 calories to your maintenance and try and eat that number every single day. And that'll help you to put on size because you're eating more energy, you're consuming more energy than your body technically needs to just remain the way it is. And honestly, you could have just Googled how to find it, but I just thought that there's probably some of you out there that don't want to go through the extra effort. And if I could just make like a simple step-by-step guide for you guys, it might be kind of useful. So another thing that needs to be said is it is a rough estimate job. There's no real way to figure out the exact amount of calories that you need every day to maintain your weight. But doing these methods will give you a rough number like around there, which is going to be useful because if you knock 500 calories off of that, you are pretty much guaranteed to lose weight. So yeah, just keep that in mind, and let's get into the first method, which is the TDEE method. So essentially what you're going to want to do, I'm going to do it with you guys on the computer here, and I'll put some screen recording of me doing it earlier on the screen so you know what I'm looking at. You're just going to go onto Google and you're going to type in TDEE calculator. Now, there's going to be like 50 websites that pop up, but don't worry. I use this one here, the one that's on the screen right now, is the one I've always used. It seems to be the most reliable, but essentially they're all the same. So if for some reason you can't find this one, they're probably going to be all pretty much the same thing. So it's going to show you here, it wants you to put in your statistics, right? Male, female, age. We're going to put in our age, your weight, your height, and then it's going to ask you about your activity level. So you can sort of look, it gives you a little explanation here for each one. You can look at those and sort of pick based off of those, but they can actually cause like a pretty wild, how do I say, like variance between the calories you're going to get spit out, because it's kind of factoring in how many extra calories you're burning just from doing like normal shit like walking around, or like, I don't know, if you work out, if you're at the gym, like you don't burn that many calories, you know, lifting the weights, but it takes that into consideration. So I'd say the best thing you can do here is try and be as honest as possible with yourself and pick the one that most accurately represents you. So I'll just put in moderate exercise, and then it does say you can put in your body fat percentage, but honestly, that's optional. You're probably not going to know your body fat percentage. You can take a rough guess if you want, but I'd say just skip that section. I've never really used that. And then a heap of shit is going to pop up on your screen, and you may be like, what am I looking at? You want to look at this number here. It should be on the screen right now. It's going to be the biggest number on the screen. That is your calories per day. It is a rough estimate of how many calories you burn every single day. It will spit out, even though it made you pick, it will spit out the calories per day for the other activity levels. So if you feel like, oh, well, maybe I'm actually doing heavy exercise, you can look at that and it'll have all the numbers there. So you just pick the one that's most likely representative of you. It's also going to tell you your ideal weight, your BMI, maximum muscular potential. Honestly, don't even worry about all of that shit. It's not really representative of you because you have your own genetics. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. But you're going to take this number, and if you're cutting, subtract from it. If you're bulking, add to it. And then, yeah, you're pretty much set. I like this one because it's quick and it's easy. And yeah, it just gives you a very good idea of where you might be sitting at. But what I like to do is to cross-reference this number with method 2, which we're going to get into now. Method 2, I just call it the equation method, but I don't really know what it is. It's just an equation that I learned ages ago to really quickly figure your your calories out for the day. So this one is pretty simple, and you can do it on your phone calculator right now. And what I like to do is take this number and the number from the other method and try and see if they're similar. Usually they are similar. And yeah, so I make my decision based off of that. I like to do both methods just so I know I'm sort of sitting around the right number. So essentially what you're going to do is you're going to get your body weight, right? Your body weight, however much, whether that's in pounds or kilograms, this can still work. So get your body weight. Let's say we'll do pounds first. So you get your body weight in pounds and you want to multiply it by between 14 and 16. And the reason those numbers are there, like 14, 15, 16, it's sort of depending on how lean you are right now. So if you're at a higher body fat percentage, you would multiply your body weight in pounds by 14. And if you're at like a pretty lean body weight, like you don't have much fat on you, you're going to multiply it by 16. And if you want to do it in kilograms, it's pretty much the exact same thing. Take your body weight in kilograms and multiply it by between 31 and 35. 31, 32 if you're on the fatter side, and then up to 34 and 35 if you're already pretty lean. And that's going to give you a very rough estimate of your maintenance calories. So a good way to do it is to cross-reference this with the equation from the calculator online. And yeah, you should be pretty much spot on. I just usually have a bit of doubts, if I just use one method. So I do like to use both. So I'll put up on the screen right now me doing it, and I'll do it on my computer at the same time. So we're looking at the same thing. So I'll do it in kilograms because I'm Australian. So we'll go 90 kilograms times 31. And that is going to give me 2,790. That is a very rough estimate of my maintenance calories. And then if we go back to the other calculator, it said they were 3,000. So that's probably because of my activity level. I put it as moderate exercise. But as you can see, if you go back to the light exercise section, it is 2,700. So that sort of matches up with light exercise. And if I were to add to it and say I was, say I multiplied it by 35, that'll give me 3,150. So it probably wants me, if I were to get an exact match, I'd do 90 times 34 because I'm, I'm not super fat. And essentially those are just two very simple ways to find out your maintenance calories, which is going to be an important metric if you want to lose or gain weight, because if you're tracking your food every day, you sort of need to know the starting point for whether or not you want to decrease your calories from that point or increase them, depending on your goals. So I definitely recommend using both of those methods at once to try and get the most accurate number, and you can always just experiment around with it. Another little thing that should be noted is if you are trying to lose weight or gain weight, it doesn't matter. This number will change over time as your body weight changes. So if you put on weight, this number will get higher. If you lose weight, this number will go lower. So if you're on a weight loss diet or a weight loss phase, for example, there will be a time when this number matches your deficit after a while. It's going to take a while. Say you knock 500 off. There is a time when your maintenance calories will be 500 lower, and you will have to therefore lower your deficit even more. So that's just something to keep in mind when you do calculate it. You are going to have to use these methods over and over again to recalculate it as your body weight changes. If you do have any questions about it, leave them in the comment section. I'll answer them to the best of my ability. But it is pretty straightforward. Hopefully you guys can get the hang of it pretty quickly, because you will need to use it a lot if you want to make serious progress. But that is going to be pretty much it for this video. So leave a like if this was helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.